You must lay some flowers on my grave. You must lay some flowers on my grave. My mother and father is gone, left me in this world alone. You must lay some flowers on my grave. My father was a road sport and a gambler too, and he left me here just singing the blues.
It's one of those things where I've loved music, ever since I was a small child. It's always been a part of my life. During happy times, during sad times, it got me through every aspect of my life. But when the blues hit me, that's when I really fell in love with music, and I really realized what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. I started researching, started heading down to Mississippi, going to historic sites, going to gravestones and paying my respects to the musicians that I loved. Didn't matter who it was, if they contributed in any way, shape, or form to the American music that I truly loved. I was going to pay my respects and make sure I made my trip and due diligence to get down there. And it was kind of funny how I actually met Stephen Salter, the president of the Killer Blues Headstone Project. I was on the website, killerblues.net. And he has a list, a comprehensive list of artists that we don't know where they're buried. And I actually knew where one or two of those guys were buried. So I sent an email to him, shouted to him, and within a day he responded to me. We got on the phone. Next thing you know, we're meeting in Chicago. And what I love about this organization more than anything is it's based on integrity. And I realized during that trip, we sit around listening to music all night and just talking the blues into the early mornings. When I realized he was testing my integrity, seeing what kind of man that I was, before he let me in to his organization. Something that he started from the ground up and was very important to him. And so it meant a lot to me when he opened the doors for me and let me be a part of it.
I tell people a lot, you think of me as the killer blues guy, Well, I love blues, but I also love jazz and country and rock and soul. And I decided I had to get down to New Orleans for the Jazz and Heritage Festival. Well, the compulsive learner that I am, I studied and said, what's between my hometown, Whitehall, Michigan, and New Orleans that had anything to do with blues history? I learned that there was a lot of blues guys that were buried in Chicago. Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Otis Spann, Hound Dog Taylor, just to name a few. I decided I was going to stop and at least pay my respects at the cemetery. I didn't get to ever see Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters, Otis Spann, but I could go to the cemetery and pay my respects. The first one I went to was Muddy Waters. I was shocked at the small size, 1 foot by 2 foot by 4 inches thick, which is a coincidence because that's what the Killer Blues Headstone Project provides, that exact same size stone. But here was what I considered the high king of blues. This guy should have had a monument. On to Otis Spann. I got to Otis Spann and there was nothing but a piece of grass. I was just aghast. I could not believe that this giant in the blues world was lying in an unmarked grave.
It is definitely a travesty that some of your greatest musicians, particularly the blues musicians, they've died and now they faded away, unrecognized for their great contributions that they've given to the music scene. It's a travesty that this has happened and that they don't have not even a headstone to remember them by.
When I first started doing this, it was really to preserve the legacy of musicians, really to preserve history and really honor their life and their contribution to American music. You keep doing this though and you see things, like for example, we were in Peoria, Illinois for the Eddie King headstone unveiling. 30 family members, 30 of them, maybe at least 30. I don't know, it could have been more, could have been less, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, how it affected them, it was one of the most touching, humbling experiences of my entire life. Something that I will never forget. I'll take it to my grave.
It's just a blessing to see all these folks out here was concerned about us. And I just praise God for all of them.
Afterwards, You know, going to the family's house, dinner, live music. I mean, the way they showed hospitality, I've never seen anything like it. I don't know if I've ever seen it like it again. I mean, it was just one of the most amazing experiences of my life. It couldn't mean more to me. It couldn't mean more to the organization. And I will continue to pay it forward to those families that deserve it.
The little people they don't recognize. But anybody that got million dollars is recognized. But those that don't have that kind of money, they just throw them aside. But I let you know, Eddie was rich because he had everything everybody else wanted.
That's one of the best lead guitarists on the planet. And that's our father. Yeah. To everybody else up to us, that's our dad. Exactly.
Why are so many of them lying without recognition, dignity? What the Killer Blues organization does to me, it hit. Right now, I just about want to cry after going to see Eddie. I didn't know I was going to be there that quick. It wasn't just Eddie, Rumpy's in there with him. And Eddie was like my dad. And like Walter Davis sitting there in St. Louis. There you go, they're playing all their blues every night, around the clock. I wonder if anyone ever thought about that. And then to find out some guy from Michigan has been working on this for a long time. Unreal. Unreal. I mean, what more can you give a person?
The primary reason why I do this is respect. I respect the art that these early blues artists gave to the world. I mean, I can't play a guitar, I can't sing a song, I can't carry a tune, but these people gave us a very intimate part of their life. And for them to have given that to us and to end up in an unmarked grave is just an injustice that I can't tolerate, that I have to show my respect and honor these people. And I want the blues world to know who these people were, that they haven't been forgotten.
Our mission is simple, you know, it's to provide headstones to deceased blues musicians that are lying in unmarked graves. Unfortunately, it's a tragedy that happens all too often, you know, to right historical wrongs. You know, these guys paid their dues, they put in their time. You have guys like Henry Townsend that played for 8 decades, you're talking over 80 years. He has a stone, but unfortunately, a lot of his contemporaries are still laying in unmarked graves to this day. And that's something that the Killer Blues Headstone Project is very passionate about fixing. And we're not going to stop.
It is our intent to honor these musicians. We don't believe any artists that contributed to this wonderful music that we call blues should be lying in an unmarked grave. It's just an unacceptable situation.
I'm going to appeal one more time to the people. Please come out. Give them help. The Killer Blues organization, they are just doing a fantastic job, but they need help. They need help, they need some money, and they need some support.
Go to our website, killerblues.net, and make a donation. We have a long list of artists that need headstones, and we can't do it without you.
We want to thank you in advance for your support. We'd like to thank those that have already contributed to our cause, and most importantly, we'd like to thank our biggest supporter, Founders Beer.
Hey, babe, Mama, don't you wanna go down in the land of California, sweet home Chicago?